And after that, you get this letter. What is it? L. Okay, once again, L. Then below here, you get letter P. And one more. Let's go. What's that? F. Alright, just one more time, okay? Please repeat after me. It's going to be B. G. G. Yeah. Z. I. L. P. F. And just a reminder, if you have this worksheet, the one I gave you last time, it was new friends and these questions, please make sure you send it to me, okay? Could you please take a picture? Maybe you can do it even now, if you haven't done it last week. Could you please take a picture from both sides and just send it to me? It's gonna be for me to check if your writing is correct or not. And as I said, today we are going to have new letters. So if you came to the class and you didn't get the worksheet, please take one from the front desk. It's lying down there. And also, last week we had 2 questions that we learned how to answer. Do you remember? So over here, it's yes and no questions. Very nice that in Ukrainian it's quite easy. You just take a statement and you ask it with a question and intonation. So over here, let's try to read. The first one is going to be, is it a student? How do you say it in Ukrainian? Yeah, good. Once again, it says student. And we've got to say, yes, this is a student. How do you say that? Yeah, good job. So you say, yes, this is a student. Once again, так, it says student. And exactly the same, but this time it's a teacher. So you get to say, no, it is not a student. How do you ask the question? Is it a student? Nice. Once again, it says student. And you get to say no. How do you say no? Good. Once again, me. And you get to say, nice. Let's say the whole thing. Me. Це не student. Alright, you got it. I believe in you. So let's just jump into our strangers letters. So once again, they are strangers because they look different from English and they also sound different. Could you please raise your hands if you don't have this worksheet? I believe you ladies don't have. Anyone else? Here you go. So, ready, steady, go. And we start with the lesson. That is quite interesting. Why is it interesting? It's one of those letters that let people from Russia know if this person is from Ukraine or not. So quite often, I would say in general, it's hard to say who is speaking Russian in front of you. It can be Ukrainian, it can be Belarusian, it can be Russian, and more or less the accent is the same. There could be some differences depending on the region, but in general, it's really hard to say where the person is from. But there is one letter in Ukrainian that Ukrainians tend to use a lot in Russian, even though it doesn't exist in Russian. So, the letter, the sound that is represented in Russian is the one here. Do you remember what this letter is? Yeah, good job. Once again. So it's just like English. Good. Good. But in Ukrainian, there is one more sound which is represented by this letter. And it's a bit hard to catch at first. It's something in between of good and h. So could you listen first? This letter is h. Yeah. So try to make something in between. And if you go to Google Translate, they would usually just use h to represent this letter, even though we know we actually have proper h sound. So please remember, this might be confusing. Let's just practice again. This one is going to be good. This one is going to be h. And now try to do something in between, and it's closer to h. Yeah, not the prettiest, but let's try all together. It's like a very, very soft, good sound. And maybe, can I just walk around and you just try your best to say the sound, and I will say how great you are. So please don't worry, okay? So once again, let's try. Can we start with you? Okay. Jump. Very good. That's right. Oh, please take the worksheet. It's on the first desk, okay? It's not getting questions. Okay, and so just like a side note, a cultural note, quite often, if a Ukrainian person speaks Russian, instead of letter G, like it's supposed to be in Russian, we say H. So that's how Russian people know that maybe this person is Ukrainian. So instead of Russian word go, for example, you would say ho. And Russian people can hear that this one is soft H, and they might know that this is a Ukrainian person in front of them. But for you, let's just practice again. So the one with the little tail on the top is just standard English letter G. G. The one here, let's say H. And here you go in between. But if you struggle, just move closer to this sound, H sound. Let's take it. H. Oh, and please take the worksheet. Thank you. All right, so in the notes, please make the note that it is something in between of G and H. No representation in English, unfortunately. And then, please watch how to write it down in Ukrainian. So over here, you just need to follow a few steps. We start with line, and we draw a roof on the top. That's your big letter. And something smaller next to it. It's going to be letter H again. And below you get a few words and syllables to practice. So you start, I believe in you. What's the first thing that you see? It's going to be a H and A. And it makes, please take a worksheet. Thank you. So it's a H and A. And together it's, nice, once again, Ha. What's the second one? Oh, good job. And then, Ha. And then, nice, once again, Hu. And the last one is, oh, the word. The first word is, good, once again, hope. And then you have your first compliment pretty much. If you see a pretty girl, you can say pretty. How do you say pretty in Ukrainian? Very good. Once again, harna. Yeah, it's how you call a pretty girl. Pretty much means pretty. Once again, harna. And the last word is the God. How do you say the God? Nice. Once again, bo. Good job. Okay. Just the words. Okay, let's practice this H sound again. Hope. Harna. Bo. Nice. Okay, the next letter that none of you will have a problem with because you have the sound in Mandarin. Pretty convenient. We've got the letter that looks like a snowflake. So when you are in a Ukrainian kindergarten and you learn letters, teachers would say it's snowflake. So it's a bit complicated to write it down to pretend it's a printed one, so maybe it looks like this. But if you want to do the cursive, you just need to follow the steps. We start with this half of the oval, then we go up, then we go down, one more line, and then you close it. That's your letter J. It can be a bit like fatter. If you like it more, you can draw it slimmer, it doesn't matter. So once again, I will draw it a bit bigger, okay? We go like this, then we go up, down, up, and you close it. And the small letter looks like the big letter, exactly the same. So the big one, and just a bit smaller in size. So please try to write it down, and don't forget to take a picture after the class. I will check for you. And I forgot to introduce this letter. This letter is J. So it's going to be just like sounds J in the word pleasure. So it's J. And I believe this one is a good representation, or if you like, it's not S, please mind, it's J in the word pleasure. So it's just a representation of the sound. So maybe it's better to write down Z and H, or maybe Pomo, because I believe you have the same sound. Okay, and let's say it's letter J. J. Alright, and over here you got a few words to read. Let's start with first. What do you see? J and E. What does it make? Good, once again, J. Then you have J and E. What does it make? Nice, once again, G. And after that you have J and U. What does that make? Good job, once again, Zhu. And then you get some real words. So the first one is the beetle, like the insect. How do you say the beetle? Yeah, good job. Once again, Zhuk. And then you get like big hunger. Zh, O, R. Nice, once again, Zhor. And the last word, the stress is on the first syllable. It's going to be a lady, a woman. How do you say it? Yeah, good job. Or it can be a wife too. So let's go. It's Zh, I, N, K, A. Let's say Zhinka. Nice. And once again, let's repeat after me. Zhuk, Zhor, Zhinka. Alright. I will upload the audio after the class again. Let's move to the next letter. Does it look like anything we've learned so far? Does it resemble any letter you know? Oh, I believe quite easy, isn't it? Do you remember this letter? What's that? Yeah, good. Once again, E. So this one is pretty much the same. You just need to make sure you draw 2 dots on the top. That's the only difference. So before we had letter E, this one is very similar. We just wrote 2 dots above. So every single time you need 2 dots. And if you remember, I told you, if you write letter E, there is no dot here, right? Not even one. But when you write Y, you need to make sure you draw 2 of them. So this is E, and this is Y. And once again, how do you say this letter? The best representation is Y in yield, for example. So it's going to be Y. And if you learned Russian, maybe this one is going to help. It's only for those who learned Russian. So that's the representation for those who learned Russian. And this one in Latin. So Y, Y. Yeah, once again, Y. And let's try to say these little words below. So what do you see? Yeah, good job. So you say he, you say m, let's say yim. And after that, good job, let's say yiv. And this is, good job, let's say yiv. And how do you say hedgehog in Ukrainian? You have some new letters here, both of them. Let's go. First is yi, then you have zh, and then you have a and k. So how do you say hedgehog? Yeah, that's good. Once again, dyhdxhxhch. One more, very similar. This time it's food. How do you say food in Ukrainian? Yeah, nice. So you go dyhdxhxhch. Let's say dyjdxhxhch. And then you have the name of Ukraine in Ukrainian. So I'm gonna make sure everyone can read this because that's the name of my country. So let's go. What's the first letter? Ooh, that's right. And then you have K, and then you have very good, and then and then Y, and then N, Yeah, good job. Let's say Ukraina. One more time. Let's say Ukraina. Does anyone know what the name of the country means? Do you know why Ukraine is called Ukraine? Do you know why it is called Ukraine? Have you heard any stories? There are quite a lot, so maybe you've heard something. Oh, okay. No worries. Anyone? Alright, let's start with something. So, obviously, there are a few versions. So, one of them, if you look at the name itself, it has the word country in it. So, Kraina in Ukrainian is country, and U in Old Slavic means my. So, pretty much it means my country. And quite interesting that this name became an official name in the 11th century. So anything before that was referred as Kievan Rus. And during the time of the Kievan Rus, which is something from 5th to 11th century, people would still call themselves Ukrainians. So if you look into the old documents, you could see the name Ukraine even back then. Because the best analogy would be like the whole world knows Germany as Germany, but German people would call themselves Deutschland. So like the name sounds different, right? The same back then. We say that for the rest of the world, the whole world knew that area as Kievan Rus. But when you look in the documents, you can see that people call themselves Ukraine. So pretty much it just means my country, and that's how people called themselves from the old times. But in the 11th century, it became an official name. We also say that Russia pretty much stole the name, because as you can see, Kievan Rus has the word Rus in it, so we do say that Russia stole the name, because Kievan Rus is not really that connected to Russia. It's pretty much the territory of Ukraine. And since we didn't have a chance to use this name anymore, we started to use the one how we refer to ourselves. If you listen to Russian propaganda, or maybe you could hear that idea too, in Russian there is a word Okrina, which means suburbs. So quite often you can hear Russian propaganda saying that Ukraine has never been a country, even because Ukraine means suburbs. So it's their way to prove that Ukraine has never been a country. But us Ukrainians do know that Ukraine just means my country. So a very different etymology of the word. All right, that was Ukraine. And the last word is going to be my city. Let's try to read. What's the city that you see in front of you? Let's go letter by letter. So the first one is K, and then you have good job, and then you have Y, and the last one is V, good job. And let's say Kyiv. That's how you spell the capital of Ukraine, Kyiv. Alright, that was letter Y. And we moved to the letter that is kind of similar in pronunciation. Let's see. So the next letter is just in front of you. Oh wait, we didn't read, right? Did we? Yes, we did, sorry. Okay, let's move. That's the next letter you see in front of you. It looks like one of the letters you've learned before. So this letter is letter U, right? And please make sure to draw this line above, and it becomes letter U. So it's just one sound like U in your, for example. So let's say U. If you want to hear the difference again, so the one here is just longer, so it's going to be Y. Yeah, you kind of can hear this E sound at the end, so it's Y. And this one is just very short. It's a very short letter. Let's say Y. Yeah, that's right. So this is Y, and this is Y. And below you've got a few sounds to practice. Oh, by the way, if you want to write in cursive, you just write down that letter you've learned already, U, and just don't forget to draw the line above. That's how you get letter U. And let's read. So the first one is going to be A and Y. What's the sound? Anyone who feels brave? I feel like this is quite easy. What do you see? A and Y. It makes? Good. Once again, I. What's the second one? That's good. Let's say it together. Oi. And then you have, let's say Uy. And this sound? Good. Once again, A. Then the word here is, yeah, that's good. Let's say it again. So you have Y, you have O, you have the, let's say, Yod. And the next is the city we are in today. Can we go one by one? What do you see? It's T, and then A, and then Y, and then B, E, U. And it makes Taipei. Yeah, once again, Taipei. Alright, you got it. So, maybe let's just read these words again, these letters again. We start with this first. What's this sound? Once again, H. And then you have, nice, let's say Zh. And over here you have Yi. And this one is short. It says Y. Alright. Okay, ready. We move to one consonant over here. So, when you see it printed in the book, it looks like this. And this letter is just S. You saw it before. So when you were saying this is mom, you used this letter already. Remember, so like S, mama. So that's the letter. And just to make it a bit easier, you could say it's S in cat, for example. So this last S sound is what you need. And let's again, S. And once you want to write it down, you write U again. But don't forget to end it with a little tail below. And it just needs to be under the line. So that's how you draw it. You go with U, and then you just finish with a little tail at the end. And the same with the little one. So you draw U, and make sure to draw a little something at the end. And let's just say again, this letter is T. And so below you have a few sounds. What's number one? Okay, let's say ca. And then you have, nice, let's say c. And then you have, good job, let's say ca. And the next thing is just a sound. Yeah. Let's say tap. And a circus in Ukrainian is nice, but don't forget it's u. So it's going to be c, u, r, k. Good, let's say c. Or more like this maybe. C. Okay. I'm just thinking that the representation is not that great, unfortunately. So this one will be u. Do you think it's better to show it like this or like this when you say c? I or Y? Y? Do you think number one is better or number two is better? C. One? Two? Okay, I'm not sure, but yeah, just remember, so it's sound. So. Okay, let's move to the next. And over here, you have a new letter again, but a very easy sound for you speakers of Mandarin. So you've got something that looks like 4 imprinted, and this is your sound ch, like in church, for example. So ch. And once again, ch. And when you want to write it down in cursive, you just make it a bit rounder. Oh, sorry. So it pretty much looks like O, but you need to draw the tail the other way around. And try to make this part a bit flatter. So the small ch, this part doesn't go down as much. It's quite flat on the top. And then you have some random sounds below. I want to hear you guys. What do you see? Let's start with the one here. It goes nice. Let's again cha. And then you have chu. That's good. Let's say chu. And then you have good. Let's say aj. And then you have uch. And this one is cha. Let's say cha. And over here is ch. And then you have edge. Good job. And this one is uch. And this one is okay. Let's say cho. And this one is cha. Good job. So a few words for you. Number one is going to be a pen, the one you write with. And since it's a bit longer, I would just write it down, okay? Let's say, rучка. After that, you have post office. How do you say post office? Nice. So, p, o, ch, t, a. Let's say, почта. And the last one is going to be tea, the one you drink. That's good. So you have ch, a, and y, the one we just learned. Let's say chai. Alright, that was letter ch. And we still have some of them. So we still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 letters, quite a lot. What time is it? 4:42. Well, we kind of read them, so sorry. Let's just cover all of them, because next thing we do, we're gonna read one little comic book based on the Ukrainian story. So let's just finish, guys. Sorry, it's quite a bit today. So we move to the next letter, and it looks like this imprinted. And when you want to write it down in cursive, you start with I and you continue. And the same with the little one. So if your letter M is way lower, should go all the way up. Same here. So especially when it's a little one, just make sure you draw the whole thing. Otherwise, it might look like M a bit. So it should be tall. It should be a tall letter. And once again, it goes like this. Sh. And the best representation is going to be just letters S and H. Maybe in the word shop. So that's where you find it. And let's say again, sh. And you have some sounds to practice. Let's repeat after me. So, sha, cha. Shu, shu. Sha, zha. Sho, zho. Shu, zhu. And this word is for you. Can you spell it out, please? So you start with sh, and then you have k, and then you have a, and lastness f. Nice. This is your wardrobe or closet. Let's say shkaf. And the last word you can say avto, or you can use this word instead. Can we spell it out too? So we start with m, and then you have a, sh, b, n, a, and you get. That's good. So ma-shi-na. Let's say ma-shi-na. It's the same with auto, so it's a car. Mashina. Alright, that was your letter sh. So good for you, you get very similar sounds in Mandarin. So you're gonna master pronunciation really fast. And the next letter, we actually had it before. In the question, what is it? Do you remember what that letter is? No? The question was shō-tse. Do you remember? Which means, what is it? And you had this letter before. So, it looks just like sh, but make sure you throw one more tail below. Just like sh, but with the tail. And the pronunciation is sh and ch together. So maybe something like posh cherry, but you need to say it together. Let's practice. It's ch. Ch. So sh and ch as fast as you can say ch. And below, we've got something to practice with. Let's go. Cha, shu. The next word is a cheek. How do you say cheek in Ukrainian? Nice. So let's see. And let's say щёка. So щёка, щёka. Then you have a type of a fish. Yes, good job. Let's again, щука. And the last one is our most famous soup in Ukraine. Yeah, that's the one. Let's say borscht. And that's something every Ukrainian is so proud of. It's pretty much in our blood, in our DNA. And if you ever have a chance, I hope everyone can try it because it's a very nice soup to have. Yeah, you love it? So that's the soup itself. It's beetroot, tomatoes, potatoes, beef, cabbage, tomatoes, and then we always add the sour cream. And all together, it sounds really good. And I'm pretty sure that it's kind of, similar to your cuisine somehow, so I believe you would like it too. It's nothing too crazy. Altogether, it's just a very nice soup to have, especially on a cold day. And we have some fun stories connected to borscht. Maybe you've heard that. So obviously, everywhere in the region, we do share kind of a similar cuisine. So if you go to Poland, you can see borscht too. If you go to Russia, you're gonna find it too. Or if you're gonna go to Belarus, it's obviously there. For some reasons, everyone tries to claim it, just like we claim dumplings almost everywhere in the world. You know, like Chinese people say it's theirs, or like Polish people say, Indians say it's theirs. The same with borscht. When the war just started, and Russians really like to prove that they had started the war because Ukrainians are nationalists. The Minister of Culture in Russia had the whole talk on how Ukrainians are nationalists because they claim that borscht is theirs. And she had like a very mean talk on that. She said that you can find borscht everywhere, but Ukrainians always say borscht is theirs. That's why they're nationalists, and we had to start this military operation, like from a cultural point of view. Sounds silly, to be honest. And then UNESCO came. So no one actually claimed borscht officially, but after that speech of the Minister of Culture, UNESCO actually did prove that, sorry, that's an open article, but UNESCO did prove that borscht is Ukrainian, and now it's in the list of UNESCO cultural heritage. It wouldn't be like this, but it started only because the Minister of Culture in Russia was very, very possessive about borscht, and they did say that it is Ukrainian, even though, to be honest, it's regional. You can find it everywhere in the south of that region, so it's not the only country with borscht. All right, we still have a few letters, right? Let's see what the next one is. Okay, so this letter, it actually doesn't make any sound officially. So it's also just a small letter. It doesn't have a big letter as such. And please draw it first. So if you listen to any textbook, they would explain that it's a soft sign. And by a soft sign, it means that it will make any consonant soft. And there is a trick how to make it. So every single time you see a consonant, you need to say something like eh at the end. I will just show it, okay? So for example, you've got this letter. What is this letter? Ma. And then if you add the soft sign, you need to make something that sounds like eh. So let's try it. Mia. So it's like ma and eh at the end. Mia. What about this letter? Do you remember? Let's say l. And then if you want to make it softer, you need to add this eh sound. L. Let's try one more. So you got this letter. Yeah, nice. Let's say s. And then with this letter, you need to do something like eh at the end. At the end, sorry. S. Let's try again and try to listen for this eh sound at the end. Okay? Me. L. So it's very subtle, it's not really there, it's just the way you would pronounce the whole thing. Maybe, let's try again. So this letter is letter, yeah, let's say N. But then you need to try to make this I sound. Let's say Nya. Or maybe let's do, oh, this end. What's this letter? Let's say P. And let's try to make this I sound. P. And what else do I have? Maybe, oh, let's try the hardest. What's this letter? R. And if you add this I sound, R. So we will practice later. Just for now, can you try to listen for this I sound again, okay? Let's go. Mia. L. S. Nya. R. Alright. And below you got a few examples. Let's just repeat after me, okay? So the first one is hard. It's gonna be mat. And so over here we get this in sound. Let's say mat. Then you have the hard one. Let's say mol. And then let's try to say this sound. Mol. Okay, let's go. Kam. Kani. Los. Great. And we will practice more. So this one is a bit tougher than the rest. And you've got one word which represents your country this time. So let's make it bigger. And let's go one by one. So the first letter is T, and then A, and then Y, and then V, and then A, N. And don't forget this soft sign. So what does it make? So if you didn't have it, you would say Taiwan. But if you have it, it's going to be Ny. Taiwan. So let's try to say it again, okay? Ny. Taiwan. Alright, that was your country. And we just have two more letters. So let's finish with all the letters. And I'm sorry, it's kind of a lot, but let's just do it. We've got something that looks like this, imprinted. And this letter is going to be letter U. Or pretty much it's just the English word U. Maybe it's easier. So let's again, U. And if you want to write it down cursive, you start with E letter, you draw the lines, and you draw O. And that's how you get it. And the same. So little line, a line, and a circle. So let's again, U. And after that, you get a few words below. Let's start with the first word. What do you see? Yeah, let's say Eula. Then you have a name. Ra. And together it's nice. Let's say Yura. And then you have a few sounds. Okay, Yun. And then Youth. And the last one is, okay, let's say youth. And let's say it faster, everyone. Yula. Yura. Yun, youth. Okay. I hope you finished. I don't think it takes too much time to write it, right? Because you just need to write a letter. You don't need to write those little words. And the last thing, look, you reached the end of the alphabet. This letter is letter Ya. For example, like in yard. Let's say Ya. And when you write it in cursive, there are some steps, but at the end it should look like this. So you go up, circle, keep going, and finish the end. And the small one looks like the big one, so you just need to try to do it. And one line is going to be like that. Okay, just try your best and then take a picture. If there is anything to correct, I will correct it for you. And let's say again, this letter is Ya. And actually it's one of the words too. In Ukrainian, Ya means I. So if you want to say, my name is, let's say, Kate, you could say, Мене звати Kate. Or you just can say, I am Kate. How would you say that? Yeah? Kate. And that makes a perfect sentence, which means I am Kate. So in my case, I am Vlada, right? So I would say, Я Vlada. So you could have this conversation, Як тебе звати? And you could say, Я Vlada, which means I'm Vlada, my name is Vlada. Or you could say, I am a student. How would you say that? Yeah, good job. I will just show you the word, okay? So before here, you had the word student, student, right? And you could say, I am a student. Let's say, я student. Yeah, which means I am a student. So, я, and then you write down student. Я student. And then you get some words to read. And that's going to be the last thing before we have a break. So let's see what we get. Oh, okay. The first one is the hole, like the one you can fall into. Yeah, yama, let's say yama. The next one is the name. That's why it's with the capital letter. What do you see? Yeah, good job. Let's say Yana. This one is good job. Let's say Yar. And this one is my. Good job. Let's say Moya. This one is your. How do you say that? Let's say Voya. Now let's just make one sentence, one phrase. Can you find that, please? When you say my beautiful wife, you've got all the words. Can you try to find that? So let's start with mine. Which is mine? Did you make any notes? Yeah, that's good. So Moya means mine. Do you remember how to say beautiful? That's good. Let's say Arna. And wife is going to be, yeah, that's good. Let's say Moya Harna Zhinka. Yeah, you had these words today, that's why I used them. Or maybe you could say if you're a girl only, because we haven't learned it yet, but this is only for girls. If you are the guy, you need a different ending. But it's very easy. It follows the same rules, and we'll learn that later. So if you're a guy, you don't say Harna, because it's for a girl, but you say Harni. Yeah, that's for a man, for a boy. And let's just make the sentence. Could you say I am pretty as a girl? If you're a girl, you won't say I'm pretty. How do you say that? Yes, let's say if that's a girl, let's say ya harna. And for a boy, you need a different ending of the word. It's gonna be, let's say ya harni. Okay, and that's all. So see you in 10 minutes. class, let me introduce one of the best Ukrainian authors that we have. So maybe we start with reading his name. As far as all of you know the letters now, all Ukrainian letters, I think we can try to sound out his name letter by letter. Are you ready? Let's start with the first letter. What do you see? M. And then you have and then you have K, O, L, A. Okay, that's his first name. Let's say Mykola. And please be careful. This is not letter G. That's the Ukrainian version that we have. H. And the next one is so something like G and H, and then you have O, and then H, and then O, and then L, and the last one is the soft sign. So let's practice the soft sign first. Let's say L, and the whole name, So let's say his name in Ukrainian will be Mykola. Alright. So he is one of the bestest Ukrainian authors that we have. First of all, because of his humor. So each time you read the book, it's not depressing at all. And we Ukrainians are quite famous for depressing literature. But this one is going to be so spicy, so funny, so humorous. I do hope that you would be interested to at least read some of his works in English. Maybe you can find it in Mandarin too, I'm not sure. He's quite famous in Russia, so I believe they can translate him to simplified Chinese quite a lot, if you can read that. I'm not sure guys, sorry. But quite interesting. As I told you before, lots of Ukrainian authors that were born in Ukraine are actually recognized as Russians, mostly because back then Ukraine was the part of Russia, so they would talk about them as Russian authors, and the whole world would know about them as Russian authors too. And he's one of them. So if you go to the Russian course, the Russian literature course, I'm pretty sure you will study him as well, even though he was born in Ukraine and he recognized himself as a Ukrainian. So back then, Ukraine was known as Little Russia, and it was a part of Russia. But Ukrainians knew their nationality. They knew that they were Ukrainians, and they knew they spoke Ukrainian language. We were just a part of Russia back then. So also his name in Russian sounds different. In Russian, you might know him as Nikolai Gogol, but his kind of like real name is Mykola Gogol. We did translate some of the names, so some Ukrainian names would sound different in Russian. Maybe the example that you would help me with, what's the name of the Russian president? Vladimir, right? And what's the name of Ukrainian president? Volodymyr. And it's the same name. So for us, it's still Vova. It's going to be the short name. So Vladimir, Volodymyr is the same way as Nikolai and Mykola. It's going to be the same name, but just different pronunciation pretty much. All right, so what do we need to know about him? First of all, he was born in Ukraine, but back then it was the territory of Russia. And he is famous for being very versed, kind of like into the spiritual world. So he would believe in demons, he would believe in spirits, he would believe in the fact that number 13 is evil. And you can see it a lot in his books too, so he would write about that. So every book, almost every book he wrote was a bit spooky, a bit scary, and like it has this feeling of Ukraine, I would say. So once again, if you have a chance, please read it. There are a few books that are really, really famous, written by him. And he was also a good friend of Pushkin. Do you guys know Pushkin? Yeah, it's good. If you're from the Russian department, I'm pretty sure you've learned about him. That's one of the biggest Russian authors, Russian writers. And back then, there were good bodies, which is quite interesting, I think. And also, he had a huge depression. So he would go through the phases of a huge creative block, as you can see. If you had to read a few books, if you want something funny and spicy, it's number one. So it's The Evening Before Christmas. I think it's translated. Please check it out. It's a funny book. It's really good humor. And I hope you would enjoy that. If you want something more serious, it's going to be the book called Mirharad. But still, it shows the Ukrainian lifestyle pretty well, so it might be interesting. And if you want something more serious, it's going to be the last book, which is translated into Taras Bulba. So Taras Bulba is the name of the father, and he killed his son, and it's back to the time when there was no Ukraine, but there were Cossacks fighting for the right. So it's more historical. So once again, if you want a good laugh, go for number one. If you want to know something about Ukrainian villages back then, that's the second one. If you want a serious historical novel about Cossacks and the life back then, that's this option. So today, we will take a look at one story from the first book. So it's going to be the book called Вечори на хуторі біля Диканьки. If you translate it to English, it's going to be Evenings on a farm near Dikanka. So once again, it's just one story of the whole book. If you enjoy it today, maybe you can take a look at the whole thing. And over here, I actually sent a link to the book and a link to the movie. So there is a movie. It's not that great, to be honest, in my opinion, but if you like movies more than books, it's also a good option. But the book is quite nice, and you can find it on your iClass. So I uploaded it here. It's just here. Lesson 3, and then if you scroll somewhere, here. It's gonna be Christmas Eve. Quite a nice reading. Highly recommend it. But just a general introduction of the book. So what is the book about? The whole book just is a collection of short stories of different crazy events happening in that village, Dikanika. The book we look at is the most famous book. All Ukrainians love it, and all Russians love it too. It's a really nice book. It's about the guy whose name is Vakula, and he's madly in love with one girl. The name of the girl is Oksana, and he does all the crazy stuff for her, but she plays it cool, so she doesn't do it in an easy way, and she wants to challenge him. She wants him to prove that he really loves her. So it's Christmas, it's the night before Christmas, and Vakula comes to her again, and he asks Oksana, can we please be together? I'm so in love with you. And Oksana says that she wants to challenge him, right? So she says, sure, but you need to bring me some pretty shoes. I want some shoes just like a princess in St. Petersburg has in Russia. So she's like, if you bring me shiny shoes from her, I'm gonna be yours. And Vakula became upset. So he pretty much got upset that she never says yes, and he left. After some time, Oksana gets worried where Vakula is, right? But we'll check out where he is, okay? I'm not going to tell you the whole story, but we'll see where he is. And once again, it's a very lovely book, full of charm, full of folklore, and lots of humor. It's a very humorous book. It's very touching. All right, let's go. And as I said, we're going to read it now. Does anyone have... is there anyone who doesn't have it yet? All right, then we are all ready. So it's going to be the book, the Eve Before the Christmas. And we start with the first scene, so we can follow that. All of these pictures are taken from the movie, and to make it a bit easier for you to read, we're going to read some sentences. And I believe it's going to be treated as a comic book, so it's going to tell the whole story in short, okay? So let's see. It's pretty much a very dark... Right, sorry, I'll handle this later. But, okay, let's start. We started with